Wardenberg and Sutton both playing the center position, and this gives an advantage to Wardenberg, who's the tallest player on the court. That's going to take advantage of those ones he gets in the paint, as my man Chris Lykes gets his first bucket here on the evening. Taking a little bit of credit for that hook, even though I can't do it.
Miller left wide open underneath. Enoch tried to hustle.
Only big guy sees a little guy and they panic, able to move his feet.
Lykes with the steal at midcourt.
Welcome everybody back to Alumni Talk. We took a break for the holidays. We're getting started back, getting ready for the 2023 season. Coming your way in a couple of months now, so we're not that far away. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at the ABL USA, the Instagram at ABL Ballin, and also our new website coming up, ablballin.com. I'm Ricky Goins. I'm the director of team operations. I work on setting the games up. And we love to bring you guys this content with athletes that played in college to keep the buzz going. This will be on Apple Podcasts as well as YouTube. We have a guest today, former Miami Hurricane star, Arizona Razorback star Chris Lykes, man, all the way from, you're in Denmark, is it?
Yes, sir. I'm in Denmark.
Good to talk to you, man. Been getting to know you a little bit over the last couple of months. I didn't really know you when you was younger, but I did follow you. You're definitely a legend in this area, in the DC area. So just talk about, how'd you get started out in basketball?
It started with my mom had signed me up for, the community leagues. I played with Kettering at first. I went over to Bowie Bulldogs, but that's where it started, man. And then I ended up, playing with the DC Blue Devils for AAU for a little while, and then I was with the DC Assault. So I switched around a little bit, but then once Assault, with that whole situation, I ended up moving around because I had to learn how to play the point guard, because I was always kind of playing the two. Even if I was since I was smaller, I was always playing the two guard. I was playing with Aaron Thompson a lot. So just my dad kind of moved me around kind of to learn how to manage a team and also, still work on my craft. But man, just being around, the basketball, DMV area was just something that's really important to me just because of the culture of the game. I feel like they really shape, who I am in terms of the basketball.
No, man. And so I didn't know you played for DC Premier. So you ended up, finishing up with TakeOver. I think that's the first time I saw you play.
Yeah.
But before we get there, in your decision to go to Gonzaga, I know you probably had some options. What made you choose Gonzaga?
So I was for middle school, I was at Bullish School out in Potomac. And it really came down to Gonzaga and O'Connell. O'Connell was just a little bit too far, but overall though, Coach Turner he didn't promise me anything, and for me, I was always really competitive, and I didn't really know what to expect going into Gonzaga that first year, but I knew that I was going to give it all I had. I knew that the AAU programs and the people I've been working with, had prepared me for high school. So just going into it with confidence and believing in myself. I was able to get an opportunity, and then Brian got hurt, his freshman year, or my freshman year, excuse me. And, that kind of, catapulted me into a position where, I had to do a lot my freshman year. So, but speaking on the decision, it was more so, academics. My parents, that's something that's big for them, was academics, and Gonzaga is probably, one of the most known, schools in the WCAC for academics. So, having the best of both worlds was something that was really important to me and my family, and it just made sense.
So who came in that class with you? I think Eddie Scott was with you, right?
Yeah, Eddie Scott. Trying to think who else you know. You probably Donnell Frere, but he ended up transferring out. 2017, we had Michael Myers, Brian Doolin, just some low key guys. But we also had a class after that year that you probably know, Prentice Hub, Miles Dredd. So they was the younger guys with us, but yeah.
So when you by the time you were it was that 2017, you guys won the WCAC and you won the DC state title, right?
Yeah, we won all three that year. The Alhambra tournament too.
So what I want to kind of get to now is your recruitment in college.
Hmm.
So, you're an inspiration more than you know, to a lot of guys around here because basketball is really hard when you're under
Yeah,
6 feet tall,
yeah,
right? Like it's hard to find. No matter how skilled you are, no matter how
yeah.
athletic you are, it's still hard. So, um, you're at Gonzaga. You're one of the biggest names in the city. You're being compared to Kill Carr and other guys like that.
Hmm.
When did your college recruitment really start? If I remember correctly, I think I was there when you got your first offer. I think Richmond offered you first, right? Is that your first offer?
Officially, yeah. Richmond was my
I
first
was,
official
yeah.
offer.
So
Yeah.
I was actually at Bowie City Gym sitting
Hmm.
beside Mooney, and the next
Okay.
day I think I saw an offer for him. So just talk about how your recruitment how you went from being looked at as can he play Division 1 to a high major basketball player, high major recruitment.
Okay. So I got to give a shout out to Tulane. I forget the
Was it
coach's
done? Was it
exact name.
Dunleavy? Dunleavy?
Yeah, I think it was Dunleavy.
That's
I
my
think it
guy.
was
Yeah.
Dunleavy. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Eighth grade, he had told my mom like, look, he's got an offer from us, and it was unofficial, but he said if you ever want to come to Tulane, like you have an offer, and so that was kind of and I really appreciated him because it gave me hope that I could keep building on it. Even if Tulane was where I did go, it definitely gave me inspiration to keep doing what I was doing. Um, but yeah, Richmond was my first offer. Richmond was a great school, like, but at the same time, though, like how I was as a person, I wasn't content. Like, I wanted to just see how like much further I could take it. Um, and then being able to, practice against the 17s on with takeover because we all kind of practice in the same facilities and everything. So it was a good chance for me to kind of see how I would match up on like the EYBL circuit. So I was able to play the EYBL for 16s and 17s. So I played 2 years of EYBL on the 17s, which gave me a lot of experience. It gave me a lot of exposure. Um, and I think just being in WCAC too allowed me to get a lot of college exposure. But I think for the most part, it was really AAU. Um, but yeah, man, it kind of skyrocketed a little bit, at least for me, going into my junior year that summer. I think that's when I got my Miami offer, and that was one of the ones I was most excited about because Coach Turner had asked me the three schools that I wanted to go to, and it was Duke, Miami, and if I remember correctly, I'm not sure what the third one was, but Duke and Miami was the main two. So, when I got that Miami offer, man, I was just, super excited. And I didn't really want to sit on it. I wanted to know where I was going. So I committed early like my junior year.
Yeah, I
And
remember.
yeah, I committed early. Um, I knew where I wanted. I knew, Shane Larkin was, the guy that I kind of saw myself, filling in those shoes. So I saw that if he could do it, then, it gave me hope that I could go in there and do the same thing. And Coach Larry Nigga, he kind of emphasized that to me that, he's always loved coaching smaller guards and, he could see me fitting into that program, easily. So, um, yeah.
So one thing, just to take one step back. So,
Hmm.
one of the big conversations in this area is the Merlin Georgetown recruitment. Now, one thing I was mentioning, I was having a conversation with Walt Williams about this. Was
Hmm.
it out the other night? I was like, what people don't realize is, you know, you want to. It's not that you don't want to recruit local guys, but you
Yeah.
can't tell every local guy you can start, right? So you're in school. Mello is at Maryland. I forget
Hmm.
who Georgetown has. So like, just talk about like, not that how that recruitment was dealing with Maryland and Georgetown and weighing that against like your desire to play right away.
So Maryland wasn't really recruiting me. It was Georgetown. Georgetown was heavy. Georgetown was heavy. I think going into it though, like just talking with my family, talking with my dad. My dad was really big on Georgetown just because it's a local school. Allen Iverson, who was my first favorite player, first favorite role model actually. Um, but I think what was tough for me was seeing how the guards did and how they didn't really get like it wasn't really any Georgetown guards besides AI that was going into the league, and that was my main goal. And I think that kind of threw me off just a little bit. But as I'm more mature now, um, I think it with NIL and everything, I think it is, productive. I think it is beneficial for guys, kind of stay closer to home if they can stay home. But just for me, from my mindset going into it, it was, I'm not really seeing, the guards in the positions that I would be playing, they're not going where I want to go. So I think that was, one of the main reasons why I didn't ultimately decide going to Georgetown.
I mean, that makes sense. I mean, it's all about the fit and, getting the opportunity to attain your long-term goals. So you commit to Miami. Coach Caputo is a great friend of mine. We talk often.
Yeah.
Just talk about going in and playing right away in the ACC as a freshman.
Yeah. I remember this is like the first time, like going into the summer, doing the workouts and everything. This is my first time. Like I've never really doubted myself, but this is the first time. Like, all right, like it's, guys are moving a lot faster. Athleticism is a lot. It's just different. It's different than high school. But I never really stopped believing in myself, and neither did Coach L. So he kept just giving me chances. He kept giving me chances throughout the season, and I eventually ended up starting the second half of the season because Bruce Brown got hurt. And, that gave me even a lot more confidence. I started finding my way throughout the season. First 7 or 8 games, I really wasn't, feeling comfortable out there. But I started feeling, finding my spots, finding my rhythm. And then Bruce ended up getting hurt. So I had to start kind of how I was in high school, and it allowed me to feel even more comfortable. And we had a really good team. And it was just a lot of injuries and just bad timing with things. But we was ranked that year too, so that's kind of how it started for me at Miami.
So I know when you get to college, you deal with these scouting reports, right? So I know these schools are like, he's little. Let's. I remember watching. I always mess with Marquise Reed about this. He's never been a back down guard, but I was watching him one day trying to like back you down. It was just weird watching it. So I saw like people like trying to take advantage of you, but you had to adapt to that, and really, and this is what I think little guards need to hear is how much more you have to be efficient and effective when you got to make up for your size. Like, what's your thoughts on that?
No, you're definitely right because it's something that you can't change. As a basketball player, if you're gonna be shorter, and that's gonna be the first thing they point out if you mess up. Like, all right, if he's backing you down, he gets an easy layup. Like, you can't allow no easy buckets because they're just gonna automatically say like, oh, that's why he's not supposed to be out there. Even if somebody else was 6'3" and he allowed an easy layup, like they're just gonna pinpoint that on you. So it's always been tough. That's why I say you got to work 2 times harder than the next guy that's 6'3", 6'5", whatever the case may be. But it is funny that you say that because most of the time, like it started off in college, like they was trying to post me up. But most guards don't work on that, right? So when they get in that situation, it's like they're uncomfortable. And I like to just reach a lot in that situation because they're not even, that's not something that they work on. So you got to be creative in how you play defense. You also got to be tenacious. You also got to have that dog mentality in you that you're not going to back down from nobody. But yeah, after I probably say like my sophomore year, like teams stopped trying it. Like it wasn't like it wasn't
really working as easy as they thought it was. It looked good in theory, right? But
it looked good, but like I always like I remember times where guys would be backing down, and I'm telling him like as he's backing down, like it's not sweet. Like I'm telling you, it's not sweet down there. Like, and I would get steals out of it, I get charges out of it. So that's really what it was. I started just taking charges, taking that second bump and just taking the charge. So teams wouldn't even look to do it.
So you then play your 3 years in Miami. You score 1,000 points, I think it is, like over 1,000 while you're at Miami.
Yeah, I don't know what. I know I was on track for 2.
You were scoring the basketball, man. So you end up, your senior year, you transfer to my guy Eric Musselman, who transferred the transfer portal before the portal started. So. Well, if you feel comfortable talking about it, what made you want to leave a school where you were already, in the books, and who are you considering besides Arkansas?
It was a tough season for me mentally. In my entire basketball career, I've never been hurt more than 2 weeks, and from the second game of the season to miss the rest of the season. It was really tough on me mentally, and I felt that, you know, I didn't know if I for sure was going back to college, but if I did, I kind of wanted to, start fresh. And I didn't really want to waste too much time in the transfer portal. I wanted to know where I was going. And Coach Musselman and his staff, man, like, and it's a reason they get these top recruits. Like they're great at recruiting. And they came pretty much at me hard, and I wanted to feel wanted going into the transfer portal, and I didn't want to waste any time knowing where I was going. And also they had Earl Boykins on staff, which is somebody that I've been looking up to. And keep in mind the goal for me was always to play in the league, and he's somebody that's done it. Coach Musselman is somebody that's coached him, so I figured that if I can get insight from them and play on a Elite Eight team as they were the year before, those are the two main goals for me: is to learn from them, be able to play and have those connections, and then also be in the tournament again, which Arkansas has proven to do in the past season. So that's kind of what went into the decision for me.
So you spent your year there. You went back to the Elite Eight, right? Or 316?
Back to the Elite Eight. Yep.
Back to the Elite Eight. So as you're wrapping up your season, what are your thoughts about going pro? Like, how did that path to Denmark go about?
Well, speaking on the season, I was just really, really disappointed in myself. But at the same time, though, I've had time to kind of look at it. Like, I'm coming off a season-ending injury. I didn't have a lot of confidence in myself throughout the year. I was trying to find rhythm, but at the same time, it's not like Miami where the ball is in my hands a lot, and I'm able to, kind of play through my mistakes. So Arkansas was tough for me too, just because I didn't feel like myself. But I also, Elite Eight is what I asked for. It's what I wished for. And it was important for me to kind of go through that. So it was tough because after the season, having a down season, I didn't really know what to, expect next. I didn't know, I knew kind of the league opportunities would be slim. And Denmark was, it was getting close to, not really knowing what I was going to do. I knew I wanted to stick with basketball. I knew I wasn't getting up on that. But I also had to face the fact that, my last season wasn't really notable, for teams looking overseas as well. But coach called me from Horsens, Denmark, and, he's a little guy too. And, he told me, he was like, look, man, like, I know what you're capable of. I used to watch you at Miami, and I want you to come here and be able to do the same thing. Like, you're going to be able to, be that, that dynamic force, that you've always been. And, he took a chance on me, man, and I'll forever be grateful for it. I'm doing okay here now. And, I'm just grateful for the fact that I was able to continue playing.
And I mean, and what people sometimes forget is just having the opportunity to earn money playing basketball. Right?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
You're still doing what you love to do, and you still have a long future to do it. You're not
Right.
old. So you still got a chance. I do want to touch on two more things. Number one, when you were at Miami, was Florida State you guys' rival? Was Florida, and what was that rivalry like?
It was Florida State, the Seminoles. So that was actually my first breakout game, my freshman year. Yeah, I had 19. It felt like 30, but I had 19 though, just because it was packed in the Wasco Center. And that was my first taste of getting to see what a rivalry game in college was like, and it was a special game, man. We ended up winning, so that'll be one of the memories that I have for a very long time.
And one more thing, just you personally, what do you have going on that you want to tell, our audience about, things that we can support you with? What are you trying to do outside of basketball that, when you come back home or, while you're there that we can support you with?
That's funny you asked, man. Having no school, I have a lot of time to really just, think about, things that I want to do besides basketball. And I think, when I come back home, having time on my hands, I definitely want to be able to work with kids. I want to train kids. So if I can find, gym space or gym time, and I'll post like the availability on my Instagram or whatever, my Twitter. And, I just love working with kids, helping seeing people grow, in different ways and being a part of that growth. Also, man, just staying up to date. I won't be as posting as much on Instagram as I recently have, but I got some things that I'm working on too. I'm working on this website right now, and I think it'll be a good tool for me to be able to reach anybody that wants to contact me in a way, because it's tough for me to respond to all my the DMs and stuff on Instagram and everything. So I think it would be a beneficial way for me to be able to reach out to the people that support me. So yeah, just stay tuned for all that. I think by the summertime, I should have a good source for all the information. So,
Well, you got my number, man. I'll support you however you need. So,
so
I know you're trying to get started, man. But it's great having you, Chris, man. We're talking to you. And good luck with everything you have going on, man. Wrap this up. Thank you for tuning in to Alumni Talk again. Again, it'll be on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and also check out our website, ablballer.com. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Chris, for being on, and we'll catch you next time.
appreciate that, man.